Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host LovelyCheesePizza here. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Gran Turismo 3, the ultimate driving simulator, where we are in our second race of our first Professional League Championship tournament thingy. And the first race actually went over rather well. I was quite surprised. I had a lot of fear once I found out that Grand Valley Speedway was the first thing that we got to deal with. And so we just kind of, felt our way through it. It wasn't the prettiest thing at all times, but we did get the win. And so now that we're going into Apricot Hill, which is a race that can give me all sorts of trouble quite often, and we're gonna do a qualifier lap just because I'd rather start this thing out in a better place so that we're not, stuck trying to feel our way through it in a more dire situation. I'd like to, get a couple of, strategic things figured out here. Just trying to figure out how to take a couple of these, weirder, sharper corners. That way, once we're actually in the race, we can, more effectively deal with it. Because I wanna try to preserve these tires as best as possible. I don't want to get into those last 3 laps with, one of these things screaming red. So if we can do that, if we can, get to, lap 7 with, our tires probably still in like yellow, I think we're gonna be okay. Just a couple of turns that I'm never really confident in dealing with. And one of them we just dealt with a second ago. It's one that it just kind of shows up all of a sudden. So, yeah, that's a turn that's also pretty bad, is that one. I never really know. I always take so many of these way too sharp. I always want to take the inside track on everything. And, while the inside is technically the shortest amount of track to take, it's still not always the smartest idea. You gotta find a way to not stress your car out so damn much. So we will see what we can pull off here. As soon as we actually get started into the regular race, I have a I have a funny story that I just read on Weird News a little bit ago, and I felt the need that it had to be something that was brought up because it's so deliciously stupid, and I don't know, it screams bad parenting, but it also screams hilarious parenting, but it still is absolutely all bad parenting because it's just so dumb. I can't wait to talk about it. For now, though, let's keep trying to get our pole position intact here, because we're definitely not doing it right now. Yeah, 909, that is not good. We'll get it, though. We will get it. We're making up some room here. Oh, shit. No! No! God damn it. Alright, we may not get pole position, but even if we don't, as long as we're still in the top 3, we'll probably be okay. I mean, more than likely, actually, we're probably going to start in last place again. 2801, that is not good. Oh, God. That's going to be last place. I guarantee it. 3rd place, surprisingly enough. What the hell did the other people do then? I mean, I straight up just drove into the dirt and hit the wall. What the hell were they doing that was so much worse than that? I don't even know. Okay, well, I mean, this is going to be fine. Starting in 3rd as opposed to starting last. It's not really a big deal. I mean, as soon as we get in front of them all, then, everything's all hunky-dory. It's just, I really wish I could have started that a little bit differently than how it, really ended up. Those fuckers got in the way. And, well, actually, no. Didn't need that. Really didn't need that. Okay, we're fine. We're okay. I'm fine. I'm okay. Okay, now we're good. Okay, so let's get into this story a little bit now that I have a little bit of making up to do. So, in the state of Michigan is where this whole thing resides. Not like, proximity really makes a difference here, but this is just where it so happened to be. A lady, I don't know if she got arrested or not. I kind of grazed over it a little bit. Fuck! God, I hate when that happens. So, a lady in Michigan, she's, she's out, it must be like a summer's day or something like that. It must have been hot outside. Because her son was out in the front yard, in their, in one of those little plastic pools that you fill up with the water and such. Let him do the biblibbity and whatever the hell he wants to do to keep cool. And at some point during this whole thing, she just decides you know, I've got somewhere that I've got to go. And naturally, you know, no kid ever wants to be taken away from his plastic pool of bliss and happiness. And so what happens? Instead of the obvious choice of, hey, you know, maybe we should put the pool away, or, you know, I can just wait a little bit until you're done, and then we'll put it away and then we'll go on our drive. Instead, this wonderfully divine specimen of a human being decides, hey, you know what? We can both have what we want in this situation. Let's just throw the pool on top of the car, and I'll let him still sit in it on top of the car, and I'll just drive where I wanted to drive. What possibly could go wrong out of that? Absolutely nothing, one would assume. And so she totally did it. She ends up throwing the pool and her kid inside on top of the vehicle, straps the thing down, jumps in the car, and starts going. And naturally, when, you know, other people call the cops, because, you know, naturally this is totally fucked up and not okay. You know, you're not supposed to just throw your kid in a pool on top of your moving car. You know, somebody decided to get the cops involved. And so, you know, when they finally pulled her over, they're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? This is an absolutely horrendously brainless idea. Why would you even think of it? She's like, oh, well, you know, it's totally okay. My dad let me do this sort of thing when I was like 9 years old. Which totally makes it okay, by the way. If my parent did it, that means it's alright. They're like, did at any point, did this ever strike you as a bad idea? No, not at all. It seems perfectly safe to me. I mean, I had the pool strapped down, and his weight, you know, my kid's weight is going to keep everything from moving around. And so, you know, what's the big deal? And it's like, how dumb are you? You know, how much stupider could you possibly get? It just, oh man, people do not like to do critical thinking in situations. And of course, she's like, well, he'd only been there for like 20 or 30 seconds, but can you really believe that? I mean, unless somebody like literally called the cops after they watched her pulling out of the driveway, I don't think I really believe that part of the story for any amount of time at all. But it's like, yeah, we'll go to the shopping mall with you strapped to the car, why not, you know? Or, you know, I gotta go to Popeyes and get my my chicken jambalaya rice bowl and a couple of spicy chicken roll-ups. But hey, why I couldn't possibly be bothered by, you know, waiting for a couple of extra minutes for my son to be done. And then she tried to cook up the bullshit story of well, you know, I really wanted to try to fit the pool into the back seat of the car, but I just didn't have time, because, you know, it takes so much more time to just fold the thing up and put it in the back seat than it would to, you know, erect the thing on top of the car and then putting your kid inside of it and tying it down, which infinitely takes more time to pull off. Oh, people are dumb. People are severely stupid. But, what are you gonna do? So that was my story of, you know, observing people's divine stupidity and just spine-bending dumbassery. It doesn't get a lot better than that. Also, I have no idea what just spurred us going from being down by 2 seconds to being up by 1.5 seconds. It's almost like as soon as I passed him, he just totally gave up. He's like, oh, cool, we're doing it! We're doing it, Dad! We're doing it, Grandma! I told you I'd win this race for you after you died from the rickets! And then as soon as I passed him, he's just like, no! No, I can't! I just can't do it! I've let you down! And I'm just gonna give up. I don't even care anymore. Fuck it. I always wanted to work for a traveling shawarma, you know, not dispensary, but a traveling, like, shawarma food truck. Which, dude, I've heard that shawarma is delicious. I've always wanted to try it. There's actually a shawarma food truck here in Salem, but it's in such a weird place that I don't feel like I'll probably ever really have a glaring chance to ever try it. But who knows? Who knows? You know, maybe I'll get lucky one of these days and I'll get to try it out. But other than that, let's just keep moving here. At some point, somebody... there he goes. That means we are good. Our victory has been fully ensured with that moment. That's the moment where he finally threw in the towel. He's like, you know, I'm gonna go get a pair of brand new tires. I'll have him make me a peppermint white chocolate mocha. You know, maybe I'll have that guy put the finishing touches on getting Netflix installed in my car so I can watch the Tudors. Surprisingly enough, actually, I just got done watching the last episode of the Tudors with Michaela last week. Actually, it's actually surprisingly a really good show. It's got a number of high list actors in it and actresses, but they all want to be called actors now, so I guess we just have to call them as such. But it's got like Henry Cavill in there, and it's got I can never remember her name just because I haven't seen her in a lot of things, but she's she was in oh god, she was in Game of Thrones, and I can never remember what her name was. Oh, she's the girl that played Queen Marjorie before she got blown up. Dun, dun, dun. And then there's a couple. Actually, there were a couple of people from Game of Thrones in there. I don't remember who the other one was. But either way, there's a lot of really. It's a really good show. It focuses on what was it, Henry VIII? Yeah, Henry VIII, and just, you know, the whole deal about, you know, him being in power back in those times, and all of his, you know, transgressions with all of his wives and all that shit, and all that. It was actually it was very interesting. Going into it, I was like, well, I'll watch it because it's a show that she likes, and, you know, I want to be able to have, you know, some shows like that we can watch together. And so going into it, I didn't really have a lot of expectation. I just thought it was going to be, you know, more of like a women's show. But going into it, after a while, you kind of get invested in characters. And because it is, you know, trying to, you know, recreate historically accurate things, you know, when you actually watch them happen, you're just like, damn, dude, this shit was kind of crazy. You know, and then, you know, he ends up dying from syphilis later. He totally had 2 of his wives beheaded, just straight up. And one of them was totally innocent, you know. But no matter, you know, take her out to the gallows and have the executioner pull out the giant claymore or the executioner's axe and just have her head Cindy Laupered right off, you know, for accusations that were totally not even true at all. But hey, that doesn't really matter. There was definitely no fact-checking websites back in those days. Like, I'm accusing you of high treason. Can somebody pull up the Snopes article, please? Or PolitiFact, and we can get this thing all nailed out. Didn't really have any of that. It was just like, oh, the king said that's what's happening, so all right, let's take her out back. I don't care if she's queen, you know, queen consort or not. She's gonna fucking die today. And then that is exactly what happened. So good times with that, but it was a good ass show. It wasn't not a very long show. I don't remember it being any more than, I think it was like, I want to say it was like 40 or 50 episodes maybe. I feel like that's about the amount that I watched. Not to mention that the opening theme song for that show is super catchy. It's just like this really catchy kind of you know, kind of Renaissance-y, you know, folklore, you know, like a violin piece, and just it gets you every time. As soon as it starts going, you're just like, oh, I love it. It kind of has like that Game of Thrones quality type of thing where, like, once you hear it a few times, you'll find yourself just like humming it in your head, and just, you know, just while you're driving to work or while you're taking a shower. It's fucking awesome. It's definitely a recommended show to watch if you're looking for something new to get down on. If you have a little bit of a soft spot for, you know, European history and such. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Alright, we got 2 laps left to go in this, and then we are going to get ourselves a nice resounding victory, and I'm down with that. I am very down with that. I feel like I've been doing okay here, you know, and things are working out just the way I was hoping for. You know, we're on lap 9 right now, and we still have our front right tire actually still has a little bit of green left in it. So this is good. This is good. I feel like I'm, you know, for lack of a better word, I feel like I'm learning how to drive this vehicle pretty effectively. It's just those first couple of laps can get a little wonky because your tires aren't warmed up at all yet, and so you don't really have good grip for the road. but it's all good. It is all fucking good. And now we have one left to go. Let's see if we can... Let's see, we got a little mini challenge I'm going to put in here. Let's see if we can keep our 10-second lead. Let's see if we can get through this last lap without surrendering the 10-second lead. Let's see what we can do. If I can get through it, and this is going to help out a bunch right here. Oh, hey, look at that. We got some assistance. They wanted to help us along. They heard what was going on. Speaking of that, by the way, I just heard about something about challenges. I read a story yesterday, and I don't know if they're actually going to implement it or not, but apparently the CEO of PlayStation or Sony or whatever the fuck, he wants to implement this idea that I think is really cool, actually, because it's a genius business model, and everybody wins in this too. So what it entails is for PlayStation 4 players or whatever, they give you an incentive on getting trophies in games. They give more reason for people to buy games and try to get all the trophies in them, because what you can do is they want to implement a points-based system that allows every trophy that you get, whether it's bronze, silver, gold, or platinum, they all have different point values attached to them now. And so when you build those up, you can actually redeem these points in the PlayStation Store for like monetary value. So you get like, if you get like, a bronze one's worth like 5 points and a silver one's 10, and maybe like a gold one's 50 and a platinum one's 100, and you build these up over time, then you can go into the PlayStation Store and they can like calculate the amount of unredeemed trophies that you have in your on your profile, and then they can compensate you money to be used in the PlayStation Store for buying games and all sorts of shit. I think that's really smart. I think that's a really, really cool idea. Although I guarantee you there's no way in hell that if they do implement that, they won't make that retroactive for all the stratified games that people have had over, since, trophies became a thing. Because if they did that, if they ended up doing that sort of thing, it would be this complete and utter disaster where they'd be compensating people like thousands of dollars worth of product right out of the gate. But it does give people, incentive to want to be like, well, shit, if I go out and buy this game, I can, and with a lot of other games that I have, I can try to, it gives me a reason to want to play through all of them and, go through and try to get the platinum so that I can redeem it for money so I can buy more games. It helps the gamers because it makes them feel like they're getting something in return out of it outside of just playing the game. It gives it more replay value by default, because now they want to achieve everything in it so that they can, get money out of it to buy more games to do this process with. So everybody wins, I think it's a great, great, great idea. And so, who knows? Maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. It's something that I just saw as like a rumor yesterday on Twitter, so who knows if it's actually going to happen or not. But, with this, we're going to call it good right here. When we come back on the next installment of Let's Play Gran Turismo 3, the Ultimate Driving Simulator, we're going to move on to race number 3, as we'll probably have something else to talk about in the process, and we'll move on and see if we can make it 3-0 in this little deal. This one went over a little bit better than I had anticipated. So, until then, my friends, this is your host, Lovely Cheese Pizza, saying thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys. Have a great day.